When a narcissist realizes you've won, by moving on, setting boundaries, or simply refusing to play their games, their ego takes a serious blow. Losing control is intolerable to them, and their initial reaction is often stunned disbelief. Your triumph isn't just about reclaiming independence. To them, it feels like a deep humiliation. That sting of defeat triggers a cascade of manipulative behaviors aimed at dragging you back into their chaos. Their first move is usually verbal attack. Harsh insults, biting sarcasm, and cruel remarks surface suddenly. It's an attempt to shake your confidence and make you question your progress. If you flinch or react, even slightly, they see it as a small win, a crack in your resolve. But when you remain calm, their words lose their edge. The pain they try to mask becomes more visible, revealing the vulnerability beneath their rage. Next, they often shift into victim mode. Rather than admit they're hurting, they flip the script to cast you as the villain. They'll claim you abandoned them, mistreated them, or never truly cared. This twisted narrative cushions their fragile ego. But behind the act, it's a defense mechanism. They can't bear to acknowledge that you won with strength and integrity, so they rewrite the story to reclaim sympathy and power. Narcissists may also weaponize silence. They suddenly go quiet, ignore your messages, or disappear for days, not out of indifference, but as a form of punishment. The goal is to make you feel unsettled, to trigger your anxiety so you'll come chasing after them. But when you don't take the bait, the silence turns against them. Rather than regaining control, they're left stewing in their bruised ego, confronted by the reality that their tactics no longer work. When the wound cuts deeper, some narcissists escalate to smearing your name. They spread rumors, twist the truth, or exaggerate your faults in an effort to tarnish your reputation. This isn't about setting the record straight, it's about revenge. They can't handle being outmatched, so they lash out indirectly, hoping to inflict damage where they no longer have access. But the more desperate their lies become, the clearer it is that they're acting out of pain, not principle. Jealousy is another common tactic. They might flood social media with pictures of new people, exaggerated successes, or declarations of happiness meant to scream, "I'm thriving too." But it's all performance. If they were truly content, they wouldn't need an audience. The louder they boast, the more transparent their insecurity becomes, revealing just how much your victory still stings. Another common response is hoovering. Out of nowhere, they may reach out with apologies, promises, or even dramatic gestures of affection. This isn't genuine healing. It's an attempt to pull you back into their orbit. They're not motivated by love, but by fear of being powerless. When you recognize the pattern and stay strong, the mask slips, and their desperation becomes undeniable. Some narcissists become competitive. If you succeed, they suddenly try to outdo you. If you're happy, they make sure to flaunt bigger happiness. This competition isn't about growth. It's about erasing the sting of your win. They measure their worth by comparison, and your strength reminds them of their weakness. Their efforts to outshine you only prove how much your victory still controls their thoughts. Narcissists also weaponize guilt when they're hurt. They'll remind you of things they did for you, or claim you've betrayed them after all their sacrifices. The goal is to make you question whether you deserved to win. But guilt is just another trap. By trying to shift the blame onto you, they hide from their own accountability. Standing firm reveals their manipulation for what it really is. Ultimately, when a narcissist is hurt because you've won, their actions are not about you. They're about their fragile ego. They lash out, play the victim, go silent, or compete because they can't handle defeat. Your strength exposes their weakness, and instead of accepting it, they try to punish you. But the truth is, their behavior only confirms what you already know. Your victory was real. When you win, narcissists often start digging into your past. They bring up mistakes you made, times you failed, or things you regret. Their goal is to drag you back into shame so you no longer feel strong. It's their way of saying, "You're not better than me." But when you don't take the bait, this tactic falls flat, and they're left frustrated knowing they couldn't shake you. Another move they make is exaggerating their own pain. They tell others they're broken, lost, or devastated, not because they want healing, but because they want sympathy. This is performance designed to paint you as cruel and themselves as helpless. By doing this, they hide the truth, that they're really angry you won. When you stay grounded, people eventually see through their act. Narcissists may also invade your peace by testing boundaries. They might call late at night, show up uninvited, or send endless small messages. These actions aren't about reconnecting, they're about control. They want to remind you they can still disturb your calm whenever they choose. But every time you set a firm boundary, you remind them their power is gone, which only deepens their wound. Sometimes they resort to copying you. If you're thriving, they suddenly adopt your habits, language, or even your goals. It's not admiration, it's competition. They want to prove they can do what you do, maybe even better. But the imitation only reveals the truth. Your win has left such a mark that they can move forward without measuring themselves against you. That shadow keeps haunting them. When hurt, narcissists also try to rewrite history. They retell the story of your relationship, changing details so that they come out on top. They may insist they were the strong one, that they left first, or that they never cared. This rewriting protects their pride but shows their fear. If your victory wasn't real, they wouldn't need to change the story. Their lies reveal the truth. They may also engage in subtle sabotage. They could spread doubts about you at work, plant seeds in your friendships, or whisper negativity where it hurts. It's revenge disguised as concern. They want to chip away at the life you've built since winning. But sabotage only highlights how desperate they are. Instead of rising above, they waste energy trying to pull you back down. Another common behavior is emotional whiplash. One day they act kind, caring, or even nostalgic, and the next, they're cold and cruel. This back and forth is designed to confuse you and keep you off balance. It's a last attempt to control your emotions. But once you recognize the pattern, you see it for what it is, proof that they re-hurt and scrambling to regain power. When defeated, narcissists may also lean into overconfidence. They boast loudly about how amazing their life is now, how they've leveled up, or how they've already forgotten you. The louder they brag, the more it reveals the truth. They're trying to convince themselves as much as anyone else. Your win unsettles them so deeply that arrogance becomes their shield against reality. Some narcissists go quiet, not as strength but as sulking. Their silence isn't peaceful. It's a calculated withdrawal meant to punish you. They hope you'll feel guilty, uncomfortable, or desperate enough to reach out. But when you stay calm and unbothered, the silence becomes their cage. What was meant to trap you only leaves them sitting in their own hurt, unable to move forward. Ultimately, every tactic they use after you've won, anger, guilt, silence, bragging, or sabotage, is a mask for the same wound. They can't stand losing control, and your strength is proof they've lost it. What they do to you is really what they're doing to themselves, revealing their fragility. The more they act out, the clearer it becomes that your victory was the turning point they feared. When you win, narcissists sometimes retreat into comparison. They measure everything you do against themselves, obsessing over who looks happier, more successful, or more admired. It eats at them that you seem free while they still feel chained to bitterness. Their constant comparisons aren't about you. They're about their inability to accept defeat. The more they compare, the more they expose their pain. Another reaction is using others as pawns. They may send messages through mutual friends, hinting at how much they're suffering or implying you've been unfair. This indirect communication is meant to pressure you back into contact. But once you recognize the manipulation, you see it as desperation. Your win forced them to lose direct control, so they scramble to control the narrative indirectly. They also tend to recycle old tactics. Love bombing, guilt trips, and sudden promises of change might reappear. Even if you've seen them all before, they cling to the hope that what once worked will still draw you in. But when you don't respond, the recycled tricks lose their magic. Instead of regaining control, the narcissist looks predictable, proving they have nothing new left to try. Sometimes they try self-sabotage as a performance. They might make reckless choices, spending too much, drinking heavily, or acting out, hoping news of it reaches you. This drama is staged to make you feel responsible. They want you to believe, look what happens when you leave. But it's not about you. It's about their inability to handle the loss gracefully, exposing their weakness further. Narcissists often exaggerate your flaws to anyone who will listen. They'll focus on the smallest mistakes, painting them as proof you didn't deserve to win. But this storytelling isn't convincing. It's defensive. If they truly felt secure, they wouldn't need to tear you down. Their smear campaigns reveal how much your strength unsettled them, because tearing you down is the only way they feel taller. They might also stalk quietly. Checking your posts, lurking online, or asking around becomes their hidden obsession. They want to know if you're thinking about them, if you miss them, if you're thriving without them. Every glimpse of your peace feels like salt on their wound. Your victory lives in the calm of your silence, and their obsession proves you're still in their mind constantly. Some narcissists flip into denial. They'll tell themselves you didn't win, that they allowed you to leave, or that they still hold the upper hand. But denial is fragile. The truth always seeps through. Your strength isn't something they gave you, it's something you claimed. Their refusal to admit it only reveals their fear of facing the reality that you broke free of their control. When deeply hurt, they may also turn to pity plays. They'll exaggerate their struggles, hoping to trigger your empathy. They want you to feel guilty for winning, as if your success somehow destroyed them. But these pity plays are just manipulation in disguise. Once you see through it, you realize the truth. Their pain isn't about you winning, it's about them losing their grip. Another tactic is sudden generosity. They may send gifts, offer help, or act unusually kind. But this is not true change. It's bait. They're trying to lure you back with a show of goodwill. When you decline the gesture, it cuts deeply because it proves their tricks no longer work. The generosity they parade is only a mask hiding their bruised pride and desperate need for validation. Ultimately, when narcissists are hurt because you've won, they reveal themselves in ways they never intended. Every insult, every smear, every silent punishment or false kindness exposes their fragility. What they do to you isn't really about you. It is a reflection of their own collapse. And the most powerful part is this: your calm strength requires no reaction. That alone is your greatest victory. When a narcissist feels defeated, they sometimes double down on arrogance. They boast louder, act overly confident, and pretend your win didn't matter. This false pride is their armor, but inside they're unsettled. The very need to exaggerate proves the opposite of what they claim. If your win truly didn't bother them, they wouldn't work so hard to prove they're unaffected. They may also try to rewrite the ending of your story. Suddenly, they'll tell others that they ended things, that they walked away first, or that they never cared. This is their way of stealing back control. But no matter how they spin it, the truth remains. Your strength is what shifted the balance, and their version of events is just a cover for the sting of defeat. Another reaction is emotional whiplash. They might reach out one day with sweet words, then disappear the next. They want to keep you guessing, hoping confusion will weaken your resolve. But this hot and cold behavior is only a reflection of their inner chaos. Your victory left them unsteady, and their inconsistency exposes the turmoil they try to hide behind unpredictable actions. Some narcissists use competition as revenge. If you find joy, they scramble to showcase greater happiness. If you succeed, they exaggerate their achievements. This race isn't about growth. It's about erasing the discomfort of your win. But it never works because your peace isn't performative. Their need to constantly outdo you reveals that they're still trapped in your shadow, no matter what they claim. When you've won, narcissists often exaggerate your flaws to themselves. They replay old arguments, highlight your mistakes, and focus on anything that makes them feel superior. This internal smear campaign is meant to soothe their bruised ego. But the fact that they dwell on you so much proves how deeply you've impacted them. Your win lives rent-free in their mind, no matter how hard they fight it. They might also lean on pity to recruit allies. Telling others how broken they are or how cruelly they were treated becomes a way to gather sympathy. These stories aren't about healing. They're about image control. They can't bear the thought of people admiring you for your strength. But eventually, people notice the inconsistencies, and the narcissist's performance loses credibility over time. Some narcissists secretly watch for signs of your weakness. They monitor whether you post about struggles, share sadness, or hint at loneliness. They hope to see cracks in your victory. But when you remain steady, they're left disappointed. The longer you maintain peace, the harder it is for them to deny your strength. Your stability becomes a silent reminder that their power is gone. Another tactic is sudden generosity. They might offer help, share compliments, or give you unexpected gifts. But this isn't kindness, it's bait to pull you back. They want you to think they've changed, when in reality, it's manipulation in disguise. When you don't respond with pursuit, their plan fails. The generosity that seemed powerful turns into another exposed weakness. When deeply hurt, narcissists sometimes isolate themselves. They avoid gatherings, withdraw from people, and hide behind excuses. This isn't strength, it's sulking. They hope absence will make you question yourself, but it mostly highlights their inability to cope with loss. While you live freely, they sit in the prison of their own bitterness, replaying the moment they lost control to your quiet strength. Ultimately, every reaction, anger, arrogance, jealousy, pity, or silence, serves one purpose: to mask the wound of defeat. They can't admit you've won, so they scramble to punish you, rewrite the story, or prove their worth. But the truth is clear. Your victory doesn't just break their control, it exposes their fragility. And nothing they do can take back the power you claimed. When narcissists are hurt, they sometimes stage dramatic comebacks. They might reappear with grand gestures, unexpected visits, sweeping apologies, or passionate declarations of love. But beneath the spectacle lies manipulation, not sincerity. These displays are last-ditch efforts to reclaim control. And when you remain unmoved, their act crumbles. The more they perform, the more desperate and transparent they appear to everyone watching. Privately, they crave the safety of your forgiveness. Even after trying to punish you, they hunger for the reassurance that you'd still be there if they came back. But this longing isn't rooted in love. It's a need for validation. When you don't chase them, you deny them that comfort, leaving them to confront a painful truth. Their safety net is gone, and rejection for them is unbearable. Sometimes what follows is regret, though they rarely admit it. They regret underestimating you, assuming you'd always come back. That regret simmers beneath the surface, showing up as sleepless nights and restless thoughts. But instead of owning their mistakes, they twist regret into resentment. They resent your strength, your resolve, your victory. And that wound, inflicted not by betrayal but by your resilience, is one they may never fully recover from. When deeply shaken, narcissists often hide behind arrogance even more. They laugh loudly, boast about their new life, or brag about moving on, but it's all theater. The exaggerated performance is designed to convince you and themselves that they're unaffected. Yet the effort they put into pretending only proves the opposite. Their arrogance becomes a mirror, reflecting the insecurity they try so hard to cover. They may also spiral into paranoia. They worry you'll tell others the truth about their behavior, that their carefully built image could shatter. This paranoia drives smear campaigns and exaggerated defenses, but it also keeps them restless. They can't control your silence, and that lack of certainty haunts them. Every quiet day feels like a threat they can't see coming, leaving them unsettled and fearful. Some narcissists even collapse into identity crises. Without your pursuit, they lose the mirror they relied on to feel important. They may feel empty, restless, and unsure of who they are. Outwardly, they act bold, but inwardly, they're unraveling. Your victory didn't just hurt their pride, it shook the fragile identity they built on manipulation. Now, they must face a hollowness they usually avoid. They may also cycle back through hoovering attempts, disappearing and reappearing with apologies, anger, or flattery. Each failed attempt chips away at their confidence. Every silence from you is another reminder that their control is gone. What once worked flawlessly now collapses in front of them. Their repeated efforts only highlight how powerless they are compared to the strength of your boundary. Another revealing sign is their envy of your healing. They expected you to fall apart without them, to struggle, to suffer. But when you rise, thrive, and move forward, it unsettles them. Your peace feels like betrayal because it shatters the illusion that they ever held true power. Instead of admiring your growth, they stew in quiet bitterness, unable to accept that your joy exists independently of them. Some narcissists retreat into isolation, not to reflect or grow, but to sulk. They avoid others while secretly obsessing over your strength. They replay the moment you didn't break, caught in a mental loop of disbelief. This withdrawal isn't introspection, it's avoidance. The wound is still too raw to face. While you move on with confidence, they remain stuck, haunted by the proof that you didn't need them to heal. Ultimately, when a narcissist is hurt by your victory, their reactions say more about them than they ever did about you. Every insult, smear, or boast is just another crack in the mask. Your strength exposed their illusion of control. The moment you stood your ground, you claimed your freedom. And no matter how they rage or retreat, that freedom is yours to keep.